meeting for February 8th, 2016. Roll call, please.
Mr. Jones? Mrs. Keller?
Here.
Mr. DeGenova?
Here.
Mr. Rohr?
Here.
Mr. Hellinger?
Here.
Vice Mayor Schaefer?
Here.
Mayor Riggle?
Here.
Motion to excuse Councilmember Jones?
Second.
Motion by Mrs. Keller, second by Mr. Schaefer. Roll call, please.
Mrs. Keller?
Yes.
Mr. DeGenova?
Yes.
Mr. Rohr?
Yes.
Mr. Hellinger?
Yes.
Vice Mayor Schaefer?
Yes.
Mayor Riggle?
Yes. Tonight's invocation will be given by Tom Homan, our city manager, followed by the Pledge of Allegiance with Girl Scout Troop 2429. If you'll all please stand.
I'd like to start tonight's invocation with a moment of silence for Luke Anthony Gabbert, an OWU student who died on Saturday. May we keep the OWU community and his family in our thoughts and prayers. Thank you. We gather here this evening intent on doing good work. We seek to represent fairly and well those who have given us this task. May our efforts be blessed with insight, guided by understanding and wisdom. We seek to serve with respect for all. May our personal faiths give us strength to act honestly and well in all matters before us. Thank you.
Girls, if you'll lead us in the pledge.
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you very much. Item 4 is the approval of the motion summary of the regular meeting of council held January 25th, 2016, as recorded and transcribed.
I move for the approval of the meeting on January 25th, 2016. Second.
I have a motion by Mr. DeGenova, second by Mr. Rohr. Any further discussion? Roll call, please.
Mrs. Keller?
Yes.
Mr. DeGenova?
Yes.
Mr. Rohr?
Yes.
Mr. Hellinger?
Yes.
Vice Mayor Schaefer?
Yes.
Mayor Riggle?
Yes. Motion carries. And if the clerk will please read item 5, the consent agenda, into the record.
Item A, acceptance of the motion summary for the Historic Preservation Committee meeting held November 18th, 2015. Item B, acceptance of the motion summary for the Airport Commission meeting held October 15th, 2015. Item C, acceptance of the motion summary for Planning Commission meeting held January 20th, 2016. Item D, acceptance of the motion summary for the Civil Service Commission meeting held December 2nd, 2015. Item E, establish February 22nd, 2016 at 7:30 p.m. as the date and time for a public hearing and second reading of ordinance number 16-09. An ordinance approving a conditional use permit for Garage 26 for an automotive service facility at 147 East William Street on approximately 0.33 acres zoned B3 Community Business District.
Thank you.
Move for approval of the motion summaries, consent agenda.
Second.
I have a motion by Mr. Schaefer, a second by Mr. Hellinger. Any further discussion? Roll call, please.
Mrs. Keller?
Yes.
Mr. DeGenova?
Yes.
Mr. Rohr?
Yes.
Mr. Hellinger?
Yes.
Vice Mayor Schaefer?
Yes.
Mayor Riggle?
Yes, motion carries. Item 6 is time set aside for letters, petitions, or public comments for anything that is not on tonight's agenda. Is there anyone in the audience that would like to come forward at this time with anything? Seeing none, we'll move on to item 7, which is committee reports. Mrs. Keller?
I have none, thank you.
Okay. Mr. DeGenova?
Have none.
Mr. Rohr?
I have none.
Mr. Hellinger?
Nothing.
Mr. Schaefer?
Thank you. Parking and safety scheduled for next Monday. However, at this point, we have nothing on the agenda, so if that doesn't change, we cancel that meeting. To that effect.
Okay. And I will let you know that we did have our first meeting for the charter review. It went well. I'm hoping this is going to be a nice, smooth sailing from here. Item 8 is actually a presentation by Sheila Hiddleston, and she will not be able to be here. She had a death in the family, so we're going to skip item 8. We'll reschedule that for a later date. Item 9 is consideration of ordinance number 16-05. If the clerk will please read this into the record.
Ordinance number 16-05, an ordinance permitting the sale and consumption of alcohol by the Delaware YMCA, care of New Moon Half and Quarter Marathon event to be held on May 21st, 2016. Course map attached hereto in the city of Delaware.
Yeah, Craig
If
Thompson.
you'll come
Yeah.
forward here. And as you sit down, if you'll give us your name and address for the record, please.
Good evening. Craig Thompson. Address is 4699 Chantry Court, Upper Arlington, 43220.
Thank you. Do you want to tell us about the event?
Yeah, absolutely. I was here last year. The event is Saturday evening, May 21st this year, and we're excited to be back. This will be the third annual event. Last year we had a little over 900 participants, had some rain. And so this year we've actually added a 5K event. So trying to increase participation, get more activity going on downtown with the event, and really excited to be back this year.
Are there any questions, Mr. Thompson?
I have a question with regards to the liquor permit. Why is the YMCA mentioned on that permit? Aren't you the one taking out the permit?
Right. So actually, we're taking the event actually benefits the People Helping People program on the YMCA, and as a I think it's liquor permit F. It has to be taken out in the name of a non-for-profit, which
Okay.
I am not a non-for-profit.
Gotcha. Okay. Thank you.
Maybe, Greg, just talk about how many participants you had last year and what you expect this year.
So last year, yeah, we had a little over 900 participants. Ended up with actually a little over 600 finishers. We had a nice little rainstorm come through start of the event and kind of impact the level of finishers. This year we've added a 5K, so it's a 3.1 mile distance, and we're targeting 1,300 participants. We actually have a new presenting partner this year, Mount Carmel, has come aboard. As you might be aware, up on 23, they have a new facility, emergency medicine, and the sports medicine, and they're our new presenting partner to the event. Looking just to continue, hopefully we'll have great weather this year, looking to continue to have a great event experience. As always, trying to activate the downtown merchants to get involved in the event, and part of that is a ongoing dialogue, education process about just how they can get involved.
Who are your charitable groups this year? Have you decided?
Well, we're working with the YMCA again, the People Helping People program. And one of the things, even though that's the designated program, that the beneficiary, there's actually other beneficiaries. So we work with volunteer groups to come out and work like aid stations and do a certain level of volunteerism around the event. We just can't come out and do it ourselves. So we make donations to various organizations that come out and support the event as well. But the YMCA is a primary beneficiary.
Thank you. Yes.
I have a question, Madam Mayor. Were there any objections raised at the Special Events Committee from any neighboring business owners? You, Jackie.
No, there weren't. Craig has done an excellent job in connecting with any business owner or resident that's had questions in the past. And that's why we like working with Craig. That's one of the reasons we like working with Craig, because he tries to be as proactive and responsive to everybody. You are shutting down a good part of Delaware for that time, but what we're hoping is that we promote Delaware as a community, a destination community for people to come and do different things. And these marathons are an example of something different that can be happening in Delaware that a lot of other communities don't have that opportunity.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Besides that, Craig's going to help me with Ironman, so That's good.
Nothing
Greg?
called item
Yes.
ban.
Okay, any further questions? What is the wish of council on ordinance 16-05?
I move we suspend the rules requiring 3 readings on ordinance 16-05.
Second.
I have a motion by Mrs. Keller, a second by Mr. Schaefer. Roll call, please.
Mrs. Keller?
Yes.
Mr. DeGenova?
Yes.
Mr. Rohr?
Yes.
Mr. Hellinger?
Yes.
Vice Mayor Schaefer?
Yes.
Mayor Riggle?
Yes.
I move for the approval of ordinance 16-05.
Second.
Motion by Mrs. Keller, second by Mr. Schaefer. Any further discussion? Roll call, please.
Mrs. Keller?
Yes.
Mr. DeGenova?
Yes.
Mr. Rohr?
Yes.
Mr. Hellinger?
Yes.
Vice Mayor Schaefer?
Yes.
Mayor Riggle?
Yes. Motion carries. Good luck.
All right, thank you, council.
Thank you, Craig.
And if the clerk will please read item 10, consideration of ordinance 16-06 into the record.
Ordinance number 16-06. An ordinance authorizing the city manager to enter into an intergovernmental agreement with the Delaware County Sheriff's Office to lend a non-transferable license of the software known as Jail Tracker to the city of Delaware.
Welcome, Chief.
Good evening, Madam Mayor, members of council. This is an agreement that will allow us to partner with the Sheriff's Office to use their jail booking system. We currently have a system in our jail that's fairly old, and it's actually out of maintenance. It doesn't work as it was designed to do. We use it essentially as a standalone mugging program. What this will allow us to do is to jump on board what the Sheriff's Office uses. That will give us access to their database, and it will actually shorten the booking process when we transfer prisoners out to the Sheriff's Office. So really, it's a good two-way agreement, and it will actually save us money as well.
Any questions for Chief?
Is there any money involved in this, or is there any money involved in this, or is it just?
The Sheriff's Office currently owns the rights to the software. The county has approved this arrangement. There's no additional cost. They are authorizing us to use a non-transferable license. So it's legal, it's permissible by their contract, and it benefits both parties.
Is it something, Chief, we have to do annually? Or can we do it once in motion all the time?
The language of the agreement says we'll renew it each year.
Each year?
Right. But I would hope maybe once we actually work out any potential kinks that we make it automatically renewable.
Any other questions? What is the wish of council?
I move we suspend the rules 1606.
Second.
I have a motion by Mr. DeGenova, a second by Mr. Schaefer. Roll call, please.
Mrs. Keller?
Yes.
Mr. DeGenova?
Yes.
Mr. Rohr?
Yes.
Mr. Hellinger?
Yes.
Vice Mayor Schaefer?
Yes.
Mayor Riggle?
Yes.
I move for the approval of 1606 as submitted.
Second.
Motion by Mr. DeGenova, second by Mr. Schaefer. Any further discussion? Roll call, please.
Mrs. Keller?
Yes.
Mr. DeGenova?
Yes.
Mr. Rohr?
Yes.
Mr. Hellinger?
Yes.
Vice Mayor Schaefer?
Yes.
Mayor Riggle?
Yes. And item 11 is ordinance 16-07. The clerk will please read this into the record.
Ordinance number 16-07. An ordinance authorizing the city manager to enter into a memorandum of understanding with the Delaware County Sheriff's Office to be a partner in the Delaware County Law Enforcement Against Pushers, the LEAP program, which is a county-wide multi-jurisdictional drug task force.
Thank you.
Madam Mayor, members of council, this ordinance will authorize the Delaware Police Department to assign officers to the Delaware County Drug Task Force. This is actually not a new MOU. It's a long-standing relationship we've had with the county and with the task force. It's a county-wide task force that was formed many, many years ago. I want to say late 80s or early 90s, and it's evolved over the years to where it is now. But this MOU is essentially an assignment of personnel. We currently have 2 full-time detectives that work on that task force. A good chunk of their time is spent in the city, so there's a good return on investment, and the fact that we have multiple agencies all working within the county actually makes them work really well together. They've landed some real big targets lately. In reviewing this with the city attorney, with Darren Schulman, he felt that it was an assignment of manpower, but probably a better course of action would be to run this past council just as a matter of transparency.
Sure. Any questions? Okay,
I
what,
don't have a question, but just as an aside, I'd like to thank Chief Pijanowski. We had a 4-day drug trafficking trial last week, and Nick Strasser was the lead detective on the case, and he did an excellent job when that gentleman was convicted and he sentenced for prison.
good. We should pick that up. We gotta talk in the microphone.
I'm getting it on this. This does not pick up.
I just wanted to say congratulations to the Drug Task Force and to Chief Pijanowski and Detective Strasser, who was the lead detective in a drug trafficking trial that went to trial last week, and it resulted in a conviction.
Thank you.
Thank you.
What is the wish of council on 1608?
Move to suspend the rules requiring 3 readings of 1608.
Second.
I have a motion by Mr. Schaefer, a second.
1607.
1607.
Okay.
Yeah.
I have a motion by Mr. Schaefer, a second by Mrs. Keller. Roll call, please.
Mrs. Keller?
Yes.
Mr. DeGenova?
Yes.
Mr. Rohr?
Yes.
Mr. Hellinger?
Yes.
Vice Mayor Schaefer?
Yes.
Mayor Riggle?
Yes.
Trying to catch up. I move for the approval of ordinance 1607.
Second.
Motion by Mr. Schaefer, second by Mrs. Keller. Any further discussion? Roll call, please.
Mrs. Keller?
Yes.
Mr. DeGenova?
Yes.
Mr. Rohr?
Yes.
Mr. Hellinger?
Yes.
Vice Mayor Schaefer?
Yes.
Mayor Riggle?
Yes, motion carries. Thank you. And item 12 is consideration of ordinance number 1608. If the clerk will please read this in the record.
Ordinance number 16-08, an ordinance authorizing the city manager to enter into a memorandum of understanding with the Delaware County Adult Protective Services Interdisciplinary Team.
You just like that hot seat, don't you?
I do. Madam Mayor, members of council, this ordinance will allow the city manager to enter into a mandated agreement between the Delaware Police Department and Department of Job and Family Services for the membership in Delaware County Adult Protective Services Interdisciplinary Team. The attachment is really, really long, but if you want to look, our involvement, page 5 contains a statement of purpose, essentially says this MOU sets forth our duties, which are mandated by law. And then page 12 has the law enforcement duties, which essentially are to investigate independently, but concurrently, and to work with Job and Family Services investigating cases of elder abuse, neglect, and exploitation, misappropriation. I will note that this ordinance actually has a notation that the city manager is authorized to sign successor agreements because we're supposed to do it every year. And I didn't point that out on the last one. That one does as well, just for the record.
Thank you.
Late, but yeah. So this is mandated that we enter into this agreement, and this is what we do every day. But we'll sign the dotted line once it's approved.
Okay. Any questions for Chief Pijanowski? What is the wish of council on ordinance 16-08?
I move we suspend the rules.
A motion by Mrs. Keller, a second by Mr. DeGenova. Roll call, please.
Mrs. Keller?
Yes.
Mr. DeGenova?
Yes.
Mr. Rohr?
Yes.
Mr. Hellinger?
Yes.
Vice Mayor Schaefer?
Yes.
Mayor Riggle?
Yes.
I move for approval of ordinance 16-08.
Second.
Motion by Mrs. Keller, second by Mr. DeGenova. Any further discussion? Roll call, please.
Mrs. Keller?
Yes.
Mr. DeGenova?
Yes.
Mr. Rohr?
Yes.
Mr. Hellinger?
Yes.
Vice Mayor Schaefer?
Yes.
Mayor Riggle?
Yes, motion carries.
Thank you.
Thank you. And item 13 is consideration of ordinance 16-09.
Ordinance number 16-09. Ordinance approving a conditional use permit for Garage 26 for an automotive service facility at 147 East William Street on approximately 0.33 acres zoned B3 Community Business District.
Thank you. Are we doing all
Actually-
or just?
Just for the benefit of the Girl Scouts,
Girl
if
Scouts.
maybe you could just give a quick overview of that. We talked about it earlier, and
Madam Mayor, member of council, this is for the old Shell station about at the ramp of 23 and William Street, just down the street here. It's been vacant for 10 plus years, and there is a business that is looking to move back into the facility. It was a filling station and a service station in previous lives at that property. This particular proposal is just for a service facility, so no filling station, and really reusing what is a fairly small building on a very small lot, with some consideration to put back in a green strip where you would have the trees along Little Street, and really turn the business, the property back into productive business and clean it up for our community. So that's the overall goal. That requires a conditional use permit so that we can make sure that any potential impacts are accounted for. And so we'll do a full presentation. The applicant will be present at the next meeting.
Okay, thank you. And item 14 is consideration of ordinance 1610. If the clerk will please read this into the record.
Ordinance number 16-10. An ordinance authorizing the hire of a seasonal temporary prosecutor for temporary prosecutorial assistance within the city prosecutor's office and declaring an emergency. Emergency clause. This ordinance is declared to be an emergency measure necessary for the immediate preservation of the public peace, property, health, safety, and welfare of the city. The emergency clause is required in order to hire a temporary prosecutor immediately to assist with current cases before the Delaware Municipal Court. Therefore, this ordinance shall be in full force and effect immediately upon its passage.
The city attorney is tied up in an arbitration hearing right now and is not able to be here, but the background information was provided to council earlier on this matter. We recommend your approval of the ordinance as presented.
And what is the wish of council on 1610?
I move to suspend the rules requiring 3 readings on ordinance 1610.
Second.
Motion by Mrs. Keller, second by Mr. Schaefer. Roll call, please.
Mrs. Keller?
Yes.
Mr. DeGenova?
Yes.
Mr. Rohr?
Yes.
Mr. Hellinger?
Yes.
Vice Mayor Schaefer?
Yes.
Mayor Riggle?
Yes.
Move to enact the emergency clause on ordinance 16-10.
Second.
Motion by Mrs. Keller, second by Mr. Schaefer. Roll call, please.
Mrs. Keller?
Yes.
Mr. DeGenova?
Yes.
Mr. Rohr?
Yes.
Mr. Hellinger?
Yes.
Vice Mayor Schaefer?
Yes.
Mayor Riggle?
Yes.
I move for approval of ordinance 16-10.
Second.
Motion by Mrs. Keller, second by Mr. Schaefer. On ordinance 16-10, is there any further discussion? Roll call, please.
Mrs. Keller?
Yes.
Mr. DeGenova?
Yes.
Mr. Rohr?
Yes.
Mr. Hellinger?
Yes.
Vice Mayor Schaefer?
Yes.
Mayor Riggle?
Yes, motion carries. Okay, well, we are,
Who wants to lead the ethics training? So we're going to have to defer that for obvious reasons. City attorney is next door.
let's go on down to city manager's report.
Yeah, just a couple of items. We will be getting out the retreat agenda on Thursday morning. We have a meeting on Wednesday to discuss that, and we're planning to go from 9 until 1 approximately, just for the morning, a little bit of the
One or
afternoon.
sooner,
1 or sooner.
not beyond 1.
Not beyond 1. And we'll be having it at Methesco. We'll be providing you the information about the location. Lunch will be served, and so that's
So we're
Let's
going
go-
to start at 9.
yeah, 9 o'clock. Yeah,
Nine?
that's
Because it went for 8:30, so.
yeah. 9 was what worked better for them in
Okay.
terms of the location.
That's what you
Yeah, thank you for not making it 8.
Yeah, we.
can compromise at 8:30, remember?
I wanted Jackie just to provide an update on, we've received proposals back for the architectural services for the building next door, and we'll be providing you additional information about that later this week.
We're going to be starting negotiations with one of the firms. We haven't made a formal announcement. What we would like to do is have them work closely with staff, get an idea of what the city is looking for. Then we would like to include council in on what some of their 30,000-foot plans are going to look like. I think that you'll be pleased with the group that is being recommended. We do have to go through the negotiations of their contract. I don't see any real hangups with that. And then we can, at the end of the day, we want to get the deliverables, our concept drawings and construction estimates on what to do with the engineering building, the Gazette building, as well as the second floor of City Hall. And we're hoping to, hopefully, if everything works out right, we'd like to enhance some of the downtown, maybe with some additional parking, which would be nice.
That would be very nice.
Yes, very nice.
So we'll
I think
be
that's about it.
providing additional information on it. That's really all I have.
What do you have? Okay, let's do council comments. Mrs. Keller?
Just wanted to thank Mr. Rohr for his work on the Rosenberg case, and thank you for taking that person off the streets and making Delaware safer. So we appreciate all your work on that. I was following that closely. And nothing to do with city council, but just wanted to thank you for your work on that. And that's all I have.
Okay. Mr. DeGenova?
Don't forget employee breakfast on Friday,
Mhm.
7 o'clock at the Y.
Mhm.
I have to leave by 9, so I'll have my taxes done at 9. So hopefully-
Is that it? Mr. Rohr?
I have nothing, Madam Mayor.
I have nothing.
Nothing, thank you.
Well, we do have a Hayes
Yeah.
Memorial meeting. Let me think which day.
Thursday.
It's Thursday at 5:30.
At
This,
Hayes,
this Thursday?
this Thursday.
Mhm.
I can't make it. I have book fair till 7:30.
Okay, we'll go backwards
Jackie and I will be meeting with me in Delaware today
at noon.
at noon. I don't know
I'll be there.
what's involved, Okay.
Yeah.
To discuss with them our stipulations.
Mhm.
Finance.
Mhm.
Good luck.
Thanks.
Thank you.
I had days at 5
Yeah.
o'clock on Wednesday. It moved? Okay.
Okay, well, we can't get that fixed. We're not gonna do executive, right, without Darren?
Well, we can, I can just, there's not much on there, but
Okay.
we can.
All right, then let's have a motion to close this session, and then we'll go into the executive session.
So moved.
We're gonna have to stay
We're
here.
staying here,
So we'll turn off.
yes.
Yeah.
Which means all you guys get to go home, and we have to stay. But thank you so much for coming tonight and speak to our meeting. This is a really, really short one. They're not usually this short.
So we're going to do executive session.
Come on,
Okay.
Thursday.